Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 263 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you, as always, live from YouTube, live on YouTube, and I think about literally 27 minutes ago, the planet spun into spring. So winter is no more, thank goodness for that. And actually, down here in the south of England today, as I look out the window over there, it is a proper spring day. It probably won't last. I think it's only the next few days that are going to be nice, but thank goodness we have actually got a little bit of spring. So a very, very happy spring to all of you. And particularly to everyone who's celebrating Iranian New Year. So happy Nowruz as well to everybody. Lots and lots of comments coming through already. James is saying, watching from Indonesia, where there's only two seasons, wet as in rain and dry. And Fahmi is saying, hello, midnight from Indonesia. Well, you're all very, very welcome. As you can see from the video description, from the video title, this is going to be another one of our top 10 videos. Unsurprisingly, top 10 recommendations for spring 2022. And those of you who've seen some of these seasonal videos that I've done before will be aware that I try to follow a very, very loose theme. And I thought that the idea that came to me was that for this spring, I would be thinking along the lines of a kind of gentle defiance. So not an aggressive, powerful, overly assertive defiance, but a more delicate defiance. And it may be that you don't agree with the selections that I've made here, but we are also going to try to do something different. I have, I think, more than my fair share of grey hairs already, but what we are going to try is probably going to give me even more grey hairs than I've already got, because I am going to try to involve you watching live in this broadcast in a way that we have not tried before. So what's going to happen is that after I've talked about the first perfume, because we need to focus on the top 10. The top 10 is the main thing that we're doing here. But after we've done that, I will put up a link on screen to the StreamYard platform, which is the platform that I use for doing the live interviews that many of you may have seen. I will put up a link, and if you go to that link, either on your smartphone or on a tablet or on a laptop with a webcam and a mic, then you will enter the virtual Persolaise studio. You won't automatically go on screen. I will still have to let you in, okay? You will be asked to put in a name. So it could be your YouTube handle. It could be anything you like. And then, if the technology permits, I will bring in a few of you into the studio so that you can tell me about one perfume. Okay, we're going to have to be, I'm so going to have to get into teacher mode. You can tell I'm feeling nervous about this. You will have to tell me about the one perfume that you are most looking forward to wearing over the next few weeks for spring. Now, I know I don't need to say this to any of you, but it will be said so that then nobody can turn around and say that I didn't say it. But obviously, if you do end up being in the live stream, it's kind of like a sort of YouTube version of a radio phone-in, I guess. So similar sorts of rules apply. Woozy's saying, do we need a camera? Yes, you will need to have a camera. So this is audio and video, smartphone or laptop with a camera and a mic, or a tablet with a camera and a mic. Please remember to keep it family friendly. I don't want YouTube restricting the video because of certain language usage. If you're going to be making any comments, please, about, for instance, other people, I have no idea how this is going to go. Then please remember to keep them respectful and not to be offensive in any way or overly personal. And if you don't play nice, then you will simply be kicked out of the live stream. I have no idea what I'm letting myself in for here, but I thought we've got to try this. We've got to try this, and we will try and do it. It's going to be like a cross between a radio phone-in and Eurovision, with me potentially going all around the world. Or maybe, actually, I will put up the link and nobody will be interested in joining. Woozy, I'm not even going to read that comment because no, that is the kind of thing that will not be happening because all that will happen then is that YouTube will just ban the video and nobody will be able to see it again. But we should talk about the perfume. So that is the main focus. I'm not losing sight of that. The first one that I want to do is one of two for which I don't have the proper bottle. And it's also one that I talked about fairly recently anyway, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I'm really, really taken with this. Some of you may remember that I dug out this packaging just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, and Herb saying, thank God it's not mandatory. No, no pressure, okay? And maybe nobody's going to be interested in playing along. I don't know. This is the new Aqua Allegoria from Guerlain. It's called Nerolia Vetiver, and there was a full review of it over on another video from I think it was 2 weeks ago max. This one composed by Thierry Vasserand, Delphine Gelk, and hang on, is this going to work? The Aqua Allegorias, as I said in that video, seem to have gone through a bit of a transformation. They're meant to be Guerlain's flagship, sustainable, nature-loving, nature-friendly releases. So they've changed the alcohol that they use. They're using a higher percentage, I think, of natural ingredients. Certainly in this one, in Nerolia Vetiver. As Herb is saying, I really like Nerolia Vetiver, very balm-like. The Aqua Allegorias are hit and miss. But I think this is one of the best ones that Guerlain have done for a while. So let's just resmell it together. Oh, and Time to Mask Up is actually asking an interesting question about price. Did Guerlain raise the price to $360 for the Aqua line? Now, I don't know whether that's US dollars, but yeah, suddenly the Guerlains are really expensive. I must have not been keeping track of the price point at which they were, but it doesn't feel like it was that long ago where the Aqua Allegorias were on the affordable side, and now actually they are comparable to Shalimar. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but this is exactly what it says it is. Mostly neroli and orange blossom. It isn't a vetiver scent in the, so if you're out looking for a vetiver scent, you will be disappointed. This is very much on the emphasis here is very much on the blossom, on the white flowers, but the vetiver is very definitely doing its thing as well, supporting the flowers and just making them more faceted, more interesting, darker, so that this doesn't end up overall being a kind of wan, predictable floral. And I absolutely want to get my hands on a full bottle of it because I would love to start wearing it for spring and certainly into summer. I can see this one being one that I absolutely want to wear in the summer. As Langerlord says, $360 is ludicrous for an Aqua Allegoria. They have gone up. Juan de la Cruz says, good morning from Riverdale, California. I'm really catching a live and I'm not working. Perfect day, late birthday gift for me. Oh, happy belated birthday to you. And Rich Mitch is telling somebody to respond to an email. So that's our first one. Let me label these. I don't normally do blotter updates for the top 10s because just by virtue of the fact that I've chosen them for a top 10 means that I consider them to be pretty good perfumes, but I will label them just in case we need to come back to them. Okay, brace yourselves, hold your breath, Persolaise. Right, let me go here. So please bear with me. If this doesn't work, then we will just carry on and talk about the rest of the perfumes, and that is the main thing that we will need to do. Okay, so here's your link. I will leave that on there for a while. That is the link, the StreamYard link that you need to follow on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your laptop with a webcam and a mic. You will be prompted to enter a name, and then you presumably will pop up here in my studio, and then when the time is right, I will let you in, and you better play nice. Otherwise, you will have a very, very cross Papa Persolaise. I'm going to move on with the second choice. And let's do one of the ones that's in the thumbnail. And as it happens, I wore this yesterday. This is the Eau Premiere version. Where can you see the name? There you go. Of none other than Chanel No. 5. And this was released in 2008, which took me by surprise a little bit because it means it's 14 years old. Is that the first time you've referred to yourself as Papa Persolaise as Wheezy? Yes, because in this case, oh, I can see that somebody has popped up in the studio. So bear with me, mysterious person who will not be named yet, while I talk about this one. So this came out in 2008. And it was an attempt to update Chanel No. 5. Not that, you know, I don't particularly think the Chanel No. 5 needs updating, but Jacques Polge went back to basics, if you like, and the concept was to try to remake Chanel No. 5 as though it were being made for the first time. Actually, I ought to pop that little Guerlain package here so that at least it can be seen a little bit and can take its place in the parade. And this must be, I didn't type the whole thing out. Whoever said that, I just did copy paste. I was in high school, says Eric, when Eau Premiere came out, feeling elder now. Well, I was not in high school anymore. Aileen on Beauty says it's so lovely. I wish it lasted a touch longer. I end up respraying loads looking for that first hit. Interesting, because this is still one of the original bottles, as you can see, and I haven't tried the current formulation for a while. But this really is, for me, it sums up all of the best things that. Oh, the link is not in the chat, says Rich Mitch. No, the link should be on your screen. So you then need to type that into your phone or tablet or laptop. Okay, so the link isn't in the chat. The link is on your screen, or should be on your screen now. Angela says, I'm not playing live as can't trust myself. Oh, okay, don't trust yourself to what? Let's talk about this for a sec. So this is an aldehydic floral, as you would expect, it being Chanel No. 5. But it's cleaner, it's lighter, it's more streamlined, it's more citrusy, and definitely more luminous. And just doesn't have the kind of baggage that maybe something like Chanel No. 5 would have now. And it really felt like a genius bit of perfumery. Where did I put my pencil? I can't see it now. There it is. And I wore it yesterday at a family event, and it just worked a treat because it's present without being overly intrusive. And I don't think we talk about it enough. Easily one of the best flankers ever made, but certainly also one of the best Chanels. Oh, we have 3 people waiting to come on. Now, I should also say, same as with a radio phone-in, you're not all going to be able to get in there because the emphasis is still on doing the top 10. Right, this is one-man studio thing here because I cannot be doing everything at the same time, but I will try to paste the link into the chat as somebody has just asked me to. So let's see if that works. There you go. You should have the link in the chat. Okay, so let's see if we can bring into the virtual studio. Are you ready for this, sir? David, welcome. Say something so we can see if we can hear you. And
thank you so much for having me.
This is amazing. It actually works. This is so cool. David, where are you watching from, if you're able to share?
I am in Tampa, Florida, originally from Puerto Rico. So thank you for
amazing.
having me here with you.
This is fantastic because you all get to see and hear me, but I have never ever seen and heard you. This is fantastic. So, David, what's your choice for spring?
Well, following your recommendation of Chanel No. 5, I am looking forward to wearing Chanel No. 1932,
Ooh.
which is an iris, lilac, ylang ylang, ambrette, and pear fragrance. I mean, this is bringing a bottle for me, and I'm very much excited for this one.
I'm just excited about the fact that I'm getting to talk to you. Can you remember like the first time you discovered this perfume?
Well, I discovered this perfume as an eau de parfum when I visited the boutique, and I was able to source an eau de toilette. And to my surprise, I think that it's much better than the current eau de parfum. Longevity is outstanding. Projection, performance, everything, and it just sets me in a really good mood. It starts my day in a fantastic mood. So again, spring in a bottle, hopeful, luminous, sparkling, effervescent. So all the good stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David. So do you mind if I kind of now move over to the next?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And
Take
so
care.
maybe in order to make room for people in the studio, could I ask you to like close the browser now? David, seriously, you are the first person to have done this. And if this works, we will try to do this more often, and maybe actually I won't get as many gray hairs as I thought I was going to get. Thank you very much for playing along. Thank you so much, David.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Amazing. We have got one person waiting as well, but I will do another perfume. So let's do. Oh, this is so sweet, says Stephanie. My heart is like pounding like this at the moment, going, okay, please, nobody swear, nobody swear, nobody swear, nobody do anything really, really dodgy. But thank you very much, David, for setting the tone so well. Let's do the other one that's in the thumbnail. This is top number. No. Think clearly, Persolaise, calm down. Number 3 in my list of top 10 scents for spring 2022. And this is actually from last year. This is Hermes H24, composed by Christine Nagel. Still really, really oddly divisive. I thoroughly enjoy it. Angela says David was fabulous. David was brilliant, actually. You've all got a tough act to follow now. Let's spray it quickly. And lots of people sort of said to me, "Oh, how can you like it? It kind of smells cheap, and it doesn't smell very, very interesting." And I mean, go figure. We all have quirks in our tastes, I suppose. I still really, really like this. And still, every single time I smell it, I'm taken back a couple of decades to when Dior released Higher, which was a very, very short-lived scent, sadly. It didn't do it didn't do terribly well at all. I don't know why, even though it got a flanker, but I don't know why it didn't do any better. And this whole idea, the whole idea of Higher is very similar here in H24 in that it's a kind of orchard fruit note at the top, so pears and apples, moving on to kind of a very, very cool, metallic, floral, musky feel. And Christine Nagel herself said that she used a lot of a material here called sclarine or sclaren, which has got this sort of sense of steamed clothes, ironed clothes, which just works brilliantly and also makes the scent last for a long time. I really, really hope it's done well for Hermes. I suppose we'll know how well it's done if we start getting flankers of this one. And Nagel herself called it a high-tech fougère, which I think is a brilliant description of it, because it's got that kind of old-fashioned retro barbershop type of feel. But there is also something extremely futuristic about it, which is very, very, very difficult to pull off in perfumery. And yet it's not loud and in your face, which is why I guess it ties in with that theme that I'm trying to follow of gentle defiance. So that's the third one. Let's turn to another person who's been waiting really, really, really patiently. Nobody else is here. Are you all really, really worried and you don't want to join in? But let's go to Rachel. Rachel, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. And I can see you. Amazing. Rachel, would you like to tell us where you're from? You don't have to, but...
Sure. I live in Iowa in the United States.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. What time is it over there?
Over here, it's about 11:20 in the morning.
Okay, so I guess that means you're an hour behind like the New York time
Yes,
zone. And okay,
exactly.
fantastic.
That's right.
You've got an interesting background there. I like the look of that chandelier. Not that we're being nosy or anything, but
No, we live in a historic home built in the 1890s,
no way! Wow, the
which is nothing, I
staircase.
know, compared to the UK. But
No, I think even if you were in Britain, if somebody was living in a house built in the late 19th century, that would be great. Oh, you can't see the comments at the moment, Rachel, but somebody's saying I've got to put on a shirt, if presumably if they want to appear in the thing. Okay, Rachel, thank you very much for doing this. You're the second person to have done it. What's your recommendations for
well,
spring?
I loved your idea of the gentle. What did you say? The gentle kind of
Defiance.
push. So yes, and I'm actually trying this on me for the first time today. It's Iris Lumière by Cellini that Maurice Roussel has done, and
Okay.
it's fantastic. It's an iris scent that does something very, for me at least, and I'm just kind of starting to explore perfume, but does something really unique with iris. It's gorgeous. It just screams spring. It's really diaphanous and just really lovely and really luminous. And the iris in here, I'm guessing it's steam distilled from the orris root. It's just so lovely, and it it really brings out the green notes and the woody notes of the iris, and then that's kind of backed by hyacinth and also galbanum, and then it's paired with lily of the valley, which I love. Like Diorissimo is one of my all-time favorite perfumes, and so you have this really interesting combination of Mouget and also iris, which is just surprising to me. I haven't really smelled an iris like this before, and it's just, oh gosh, it's just like morning
I'm
spring
I'm
dew
just
and
I'm just
sunshine.
thinking I'm just thinking you all need to have your own YouTube channels and just talk. I could listen to all of you talking for ages. And how did you come across this scent, Rachel? Where did you get your sample from?
So I got my sample from Indigo, and the reason I did is I'm just a huge Maurice Roussel fan. The original formulation of 24 Faubourg is my forever in love scent. And then I happen to be the March 21st, the big kind of perfume thing that's going on. I think Cellini's going to be presenting, and so I just emailed them and say, hey, which perfumes are you going to be presenting? And then I got samples, so I would be able to smell along, and just trying this for the first time. And my husband and I are both kind of going through an iris phase, and I think that'll be our iris perfumes will be our spring scents.
That's amazing. Only people watching this channel would say things like "we're going through an iris phase." I love that. Thank you so much, Rachel. There's a few comments from people as well saying that they actually want to explore the interior of your home. That's the most evocative framing there, because it's like, wow, we need to go up the staircase and see what's there. But thank you very, very much for playing along. And yes, Rachel's absolutely right. Tomorrow is so-called International Fragrance Day. And we're meant to celebrate all things fragrant. And one thing that you can do as well, if you're on Instagram, is to take a picture of yourself with your favorite bottle of perfume or a favorite bottle of perfume, and call the picture a Smellfy. Tag it with the hashtag Smellfy. You may have seen that on Persolaise's Instagram, Batman has posted a selfie for this year, but I won't say any more about that. I like this comment as well from Mooncake Rabbit Hender saying, let's all go to visit Rachel. No, terrific, well done. But we've already had two extremely articulate and knowledgeable people, which is not to say that you're not all as knowledgeable and articulate as David and Rachel, but please don't feel that if you come on as well, you have to sort of speak in these beautifully composed sentences and rattle off all these lists. I'm quite happy for you to come on as well and just say, I'm wearing this because I like it. Okay, we need to move on. We've done 3. Let's go to the 4th one. I'm just going to move the mouse over here. Thank you very much, Rachel, for that. That was great. Okay, so I've done the 2 that are in the thumbnail, and I've done the one for which I don't have a bottle. Let's go green, and let's go to the oldest scent that's on this list. So this is from 1972, although this particular bottle was when the was when this scent was reissued in 2015, and it is from Estee Lauder. Try again, from Estee Lauder. It's Aliage, made by Francis Camaille, and it's probably, I'm looking at the list and looking at the scents there, it's probably the most traditionally green thing that's on the list. Let's have a spray. A lot of people think that spring is the perfect. Angela says, you need me to dumb it down another time, maybe. You would not be dumbing it down. Don't be silly. just be yourself. Just be normal. But no pressure, because I know appearing live on something like this can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So let's. So, seeing as this came out in 1972 originally, it is very much in the era of things like Private Collection from Lauder and Chanel No. 19 and Chanel Cristal. Are you not going to West Wrappings this season, Persolaise, says Audrey Jane? Do you mean where? I mean where? Okay. I haven't. No, the Wrappings is a good recommendation actually, but this is, a lot of people think that green is the best. Sorry, spring is the best time for greens. I don't disagree. I don't think that there is particularly, one type of scent that you should wear in one sort of season, but certainly at a time when we're getting flowers like hyacinths blossoming, those sorts of more kind of tart, sappy, snappy type flowers, before we get into the kind of headier scents of summer. So summer we would associate maybe with like jasmine and rose, different sorts of smells for spring. Aliage seems to capture that bursting through the soil defiance. And again, same as with Eau Premiere, I think people don't talk about it enough, and don't appreciate its importance in the Estee Lauder stable. So we have one person here. We've also got one person who's popped up but doesn't have video. So just so that I can make sure, maintain some kind of quality here, I won't let anybody in unless I can see you, because I think then otherwise I might start getting a little bit worried about what it is that might appear if I suddenly do let you in. But we have got Natasha coming up in a second. So here we go. Welcome. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely perfectly. And we can see you, and you've got an interesting background as well. So is it Natasha?
Yes, that's my name, Natasha.
Perfect. And where are you right at the
I'm
moment?
in Athens, Greece.
Hey, Yasu. Hello.
It's very funny to be live like this.
It's incredible.
Usually it's just you entering a living room, and now it's also us. So it's like, yeah, visiting each other.
Well, I thought it was time. I thought the first day of spring and just before Fragrance Day would be a good time to do this. And it's really, really great to hear the voices and to see the faces of all these people that I've been interacting with for so long. So, Natasha, your recommendation for spring?
Okay, my recommendation is a recent acquisition that we talked about on Twitter just yesterday. So it's this one.
Oh, yes.
By Jean Patou.
Vacances from Jean Patou in that heritage collection. But oh,
yeah,
fantastic!
I mean, the vintage was impossible to find, at least here. So yeah, I've been reading a lot about the notes, and the fact that this is green and floral made me think that it's a very good choice for the first day of spring. It starts with a very fresh, piercing note of galbanum. Wow, nice and bitter.
I can smell it now. You've got one person commenting saying Kalispera, Natasha. So
oh really? I can't see the chat.
No, you have to go back to look at it later. That's the problem.
Okay. Well,
go on. Tell us more. So we've got the galbanum.
We've got the galbanum, and then we've got hyacinth and lilacs, which are both purple florals. Yes, we're in the same sort of mood, I think.
Excellent.
And I think there's also some mimosa in there because there's a powdery element. And another thing I think is hawthorn. It's very discreet. Maybe maybe it's a phantom note. I know that it was contained in the original formulation of what was his name, Almaraz, I think.
Okay,
Almaraz.
so because I can't remember, but it could have been. It may well have been an Henri Almaraz. Yeah, very
Yes,
likely.
exactly. And then the new one is by Thomas Fontaine.
Right.
Then, and yeah, this perfume was originally made, I think, in the 1930s, and then this came out in 2013. So it's part of a collection of scents. And I mean, I don't know the original one, but it's pretty good. I think the difference is, but from what I've read, that it's less green than the first edition.
Okay.
But it's still very fresh, floral, very optimistic, very airy, very light, bright.
And we need that. No, I mean, thanks as well for putting it in context, because I only became aware of it when that reissue came out at the same time as Calde and I think a few others. And then, of course, that was a few years before the unthinkable happened, when basically the brand was just completely wiped out, thanks to the people at Dior. But we won't get into that. So I've got to ask you, what's one of those posters look fascinating? Because I can see one of them seems to say Goliath.
Yes, it's a film poster. It's an independent American film, because
Amazing.
I used to work in a film festival here in Greece, and I can't remember the name of Zellner Brothers is the name of the directors.
Okay.
And then next to it, the dog peeing is a poster of a music festival.
Excellent.
Because I used to be in a band and I played in that festival.
Natasha, thank you so much for playing along, and thank you for watching and everything. And
next time, because I had to do the lights and makeup in like 5 minutes.
Well,
on my own.
Looks fantastic. And I love the door, the blue door. It all works perfectly. You can come and do mine next time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Not at all. This is great. I think we should do this more often. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Whew, this kind of seems to be working so far. Okay, we've got ooh, hang on, I'm just clicking away here. Okay, we've got one person on standby, but I need to do another perfume because we're over the half-hour mark and I need to do a fifth one. So let's go. Let's do one that I've talked about a few times before, but I absolutely love it, and it would be fantastic, again, to start wearing it for spring. This is from 2016, and it's from the New York-based brand Ulrich Lang. It's named after the guy who founded the brand, and this is Apsu. I think still the best scent from the brand. I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, that I actually included it in my list of the best perfumes of the previous decade. But it's great, and it's going kind of from one type of green to another, because the Aliage is a very kind of typically 70s galbanum-y green, whereas Apsu is a more 21st century green, in the sense that it's maybe grassier. It makes use of a kind of weird but strangely compelling banana note. It's got a kind of pepper feel that works with the banana extremely well. It's got an aqueous side to it. Just genius. I just wish, I mean, the brand itself as a whole is very, very interesting and very strong. I just wish they would reveal who their perfumers are, or Ulrich Lang himself would reveal who his perfumers are. I'm not sure why he doesn't. He must have a good reason for doing so. Maybe the perfumers themselves don't want to be identified. That does happen. Denby says, Persolaise's audience makes me feel like a disgusting, inarticulate slob. No, all are welcome. The slobs and the non-slobs, the articulate ones and the inarticulate ones. But Apsu really was instant love for me. I smelt it for the first time at the Pitti perfume exhibition in Florence, the one and only time I've been to Pitti, and I knew that it would be that this would be a kind of lasting love, and I don't wear it enough. I absolutely wish I did wear it more. This is the scent of sort of serene defiance. It's like waking up on the banks of a beautiful lake. Do lakes have banks, or is it only the? Yeah, probably rivers have banks, don't they? Lakes can have banks as well, or edge of whatever. You know what I mean? On the outer perimeter of a lake, and just looking out and thinking that you are going to conquer the day after all, no matter what. Okay, are you ready? The person who is next. Let's do this quickly. This is Mateusz. So I'm going to say cześć.
Hi, cześć.
Hi, where are you?
I'm in Poland at the moment, at my hometown called Nasielsk. It's like 50 kilometers from Warsaw.
Okay, I don't know it. No, I need to look it up. And thank you very much for tuning in. Everybody's got these interesting backgrounds. You've got your work, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Because of course, we follow each other on Instagram, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And so if you want to see, as in you people watching out there, if you want to see some examples of Mateusz's work, you try and find him through my Instagram. But we'll put that aside for a sec. What's your recommendation for spring?
Should I have one recommendation or just few, maybe?
Go for one. Let's do one.
Okay. So maybe.
Don't overthink it. What is it? Oh, I can't see. What is that?
It's Fig Infusion by Essential.
Essential Parfum. Okay, I can see that's the one done by Nathalie Lawson. Okay, tell us a little bit about it. Oh, I love how this is all completely going in all these different places. Come on, tell us a bit about it.
So this is more like different take on fig, like fig leaf, fig fruit. It's very fresh green, like with cassis leaves. So I think I've heard that this is like typical for Nathalie Lawson to do this kind of, I don't know, perfume, like a mix with this kind of style of perfume.
Could be. How did you come to know of it? How did you come across it?
I follow Essential Parfums Instagram.
Right.
And I was in this mood for fig perfume, and it just came up, and it was blind buy, so I didn't know how it's gonna smell, and I was very surprised.
So it's a blind buy that worked.
Yeah, very well.
Because quite often they don't. I still have the sample set from them, and I'm working my way through them, but I haven't done so yet. And I've got to ask, because obviously Poland has a special place in my heart. But how is the weather in Nasielsk at the moment on this first day of spring?
Actually, it's quite cold, but it was a sunny day, very clear sky. I was in Rome this week, so I came back here, and warm is now very warm, like about 18-20 degrees of Celsius, and here was like 2 degrees because I came back, it was already night, so it was very cold. But so the difference is noticeable, but
well, wrap up. But hopefully warmer days are coming. Thank you so much, Mateusz, for taking the time to do this. And I love the recommendation, and I love actually seeing you kind of in your studio. That's fantastic. Thank you very, very much. Oh, hang on, I'm pressing the wrong button. Let's try that. Thank you very much. Okay, guest appearances, says Prof. Melvin. I should actually, that's a good point, because we're almost at the 40-minute mark. And for those of you who are tuning in a little bit late, I should say what's happening. I am going through my list of top 10 recommendations for spring 2022, but also for my sins, because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm trying to involve as many of you as possible. So if you go onto the link that should be on your screens, and you should also have the link in the chat, you will enter my virtual studio, and then at the right time I may or may not be able to let you in, and then you can tell us your one recommendation for spring 2022. And remember to keep it friendly and keep it nice, and don't give me a heart attack by doing something dubious. I just need to do a little bit of clicking here to make sure that the studio is still working properly, and we need to move on. We need to move, because we've only done 5. So let's go to the other one, for which I don't have a full bottle. This is a brand that I haven't mentioned before. I only became aware of them just a couple of weeks ago, and I need to tell you a little bit more about them. In fact, I believe that there's a possibility of getting the founder to do an interview on the channel. So let's see. This is a brand called Aemium, and they very, very definitely have a sustainable, environmentally conscious, environmentally friendly agenda. They try to do the whole thing of having as little plastic as possible. In fact, don't quote me on this, but I believe that the only plastic in any of their packaging is the spray tube in the bottle, because they weren't able to find a replacement, a non-plastic replacement for that. They have got, as far as I'm aware, according to this discovery set, certainly 7 scents. It says here that they contain 100% natural origin fragrances and organic alcohol. Each one is interesting in its own right. The citrus one, called Hespereden, is just so ridiculously citrusy. You kind of burst out laughing when you smell it. But the one that I want to recommend for this list is called Nova Espero, which I suppose means New Hope. So there you go. You should just about be able to see the name there. Cork bottle stoppers, so that the use of plastic again is minimized. And these ones, as with all perfumes, but particularly these ones, they really need to be tried on skin. But because we've got lots and lots of different smelling bits and pieces to do here, I need to do one. I need to do this on the blotter. These little vials do leak a tiny bit. I think that's because of the use of the cork, but never mind. I guess you know, that's the price we've got to pay. So what's this one like? This is, yeah, it's called New Hope, right? So obviously that immediately made me think of its suitability for this list. And it's just an interesting kind of update, or an interesting twist on Caron's Pour un Homme. So that kind of idea of a caramelized, sweet and yet green lavender. They don't actually list lavender on the list notes for this perfume, but they do mention tonka bean. They actually the 3 ingredients that they pick out are sage, vanilla, and tonka bean. And of course, tonka bean shares a lot with lavender because of the coumarin content and that fuzzy kind of feel. Interestingly, actually, paper really doesn't do it justice in this case, but it's a kind of drier, more herbal, less sweet version of Caron's Pour un Homme, as I say. And well worth checking out. And I would thoroughly recommend their discovery set. You will find the name in the video description after the broadcast is over. But definitely this is one for spring. I gather they're a little bit on the pricey side. So have a think before you order, just in case you do really fall in love with one of them. And also, just to keep things going, I'm going to do one more, so that we've then done, so then we'll then just have 3 left to try and make as much time as possible for you nice people. Let's stick with what do I want to end with actually? Actually, let's do this one. So this is, by the way, I should have said Aemium's Nova Espero is made by Karine Vincent and is from 2020. And this takes us all the way back to 2010. It's Lush's Orange Blossom. This is when it came out under the Guerrilla Perfumes banner. I still think one of the best orange blossom scents ever made. And I checked before going online to make sure that it is still available and it is still part of the Lush lineup. Let's have a sniff. See, I'm going to compare it actually with the Guerlain that we did at the very beginning, which has got that kind of more cologne-like feel of the Nerolia, whereas this has got that kind of sweeter North African confection, more caramelized, and yet also metallic because of an inclusion of petit grain feel that you expect from scents that are called orange blossom. It's always curious, that kind of distinction between Nerolia and orange blossom. So the thing that's interesting about this one is that I think Lush now charge £100 for a bottle of this stuff. So gone are the days when you could just walk into a nearest Lush and pick up a bottle of scent for about £15 or £20. Okay, right. He's been waiting really, really, really patiently in the studio. So let's hand it over to Christoph. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, we can hear you and see you. Are you going to tell us where you are?
I am in Kiel, Germany. It's a city near the Baltic coast.
Say that again, sorry.
It's a city near the Baltic coast.
Excellent. Okay. And you've got the sunlight streaming through your window. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, my background isn't as exciting as the other ones. It's quite
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Your perfume recommendation will be very exciting. What is it?
I hope so. I missed the first Guerlain. Which one was it? I hope I'm not recommending the same one as you.
I don't mind. The first one that we did was the new Aqua Allegoria, which is the Nerolia Vetiver.
Okay. No. I would recommend Vol de Nuit by Guerlain. I would describe it as a green, slightly citrusy, but then going into a powdery direction with the iris, and in the dry down it gets a little bit sweeter with the vanilla and the sandalwood, but it's amazing, and it's very light, so you can spray it with abundance, and I like to spray a lot. So with this one, I won't choke people out if I spray a lot, but I love the EDT. The Extrait is obviously a bit better, but quite a bit better. But yeah, I love it.
I love the idea of overspraying. Tell us, can you remember how you first came across it, or have you known it for a long time?
I'm not quite sure. This might have been a blind buy. I don't know if I had a sample before or if I just heard of it being a classic fragrance, and I like my classics, and I think it came up for a good price, so I bought it. But I'm not sure if I knew it before or not. But I loved it instantly. I love iris. I love galbanum, which is one of the notes as well. So this was a perfect fit for me.
You can't see the comments necessarily at the moment, but lots and lots of people agreeing with you. Eric is saying that Vol de Nuit is perfection. Angela saying love, love, love Vol de Nuit, fabulous choice. So lots and lots of people agreeing. And I think I know what you're going to say, but I want, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What is it that you think particularly makes it good for spring?
It's bright in a way because it's citrusy and it's green, and we already said green is kind of the color of spring, but it's just after winter, with all the weight on your shoulders, so to say, that falls off when spring comes around and the weather is nicer and the sun comes out. This is something that just uplifts you in the springtime. Yeah.
Totally agree. And I love the fact that the name references a flight as well. I mean, I know it's a night flight, but we can still pretend that, you know, maybe it's a flight into the sun. Christoph, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me and
no,
for
it's
making these live streams and writing about perfume.
It's my pleasure. Honestly, it's a pleasure. And when I get to interact with great people like yourselves, it makes it even more fun. Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing such a beautiful classic into the mix as well. Okay, let me do another one of the ones from the top 10. We have got 3 left. There's always a little bit of an outlier in these top 10s. So, Rachel's saying everyone is doing such a great job. I know. I couldn't have asked for a better thing. You know, I'm going to do myself out of a job, I think. Let's do the outlier, because this is from 2014 by Christopher Sheldrake, and it's L'Orpheline. A very, very kind of low-profile release from Lutens. It's still part of the lineup. Tomasz is saying, Persolaise is having great guests tonight. I like this format of your live. Interesting. It is interesting, isn't it? You're the best thing that happened for me, Mr. Persolaise, says Mark Tube. Really? Okay, well, that's flattering. Thank you very much. This, I think, really sums up the idea of gentle defiance extremely well. As I say, it is a little bit of an outlier as far as spring scents are concerned, because it is mainly based around frankincense and musks, and it is an incensey composition. But I remember when I first tried it, which would have been 2014 or, you know, maybe early 2015. Eric is saying, "Oh my goodness, L'Orpheline is one of my favorite modern era Lutan scents." Yeah, it's so underrated. There's something so tender about it, and yet, which I guess maybe ties in with this idea, you know, of an orphan. It feels like a scent which should, by rights, be really huge, because of the fact that it contains these incense and musk notes, and as somebody's saying here as well, civet. But there is something animalic in there, time to musk up, I agree. And yet it's really cleverly got the volume turned down. And then that somehow makes it gentle. I think there's a kind of lavendery, coumarini, fougere-like feel in there as well. You know, that kind of barbershop inflection that maybe we get as well in H24. And it's kind of, it's one of these scents where if people got it, they really got it and they really loved it. And yet it doesn't get written about so much, and it lasts in that in its silence, in its discretion, in its subtlety. It lasts for an age, especially if you spray it on fabric. It's really tender. It's probably one of the softest, most tender things he's done. Eric says, I find it huge. Really interesting. No, I don't know. To me, it's soft. Right, let's label it, because we have got one person very patiently waiting. The rest of you are chickening out. You're not joining along, but let's let them in. Okay, here we go. Cole, you're on.
Hey, wow, I didn't expect to get on. This is amazing. So nice to talk to you, Dariusz.
And you, where are you?
I am living in Helsinki at the moment. So
of course, yes.
Spring has a lot of significance in Helsinki, because you can really tell that we go from mostly dark 24 hours a day to all of a sudden there's like a lot of light. Today was just absolutely stunning. Now it's starting to a little bit get dark because it's the halfway time of the year with the equinox. But my fragrance
Thank you so much for doing this, Cole, and thank you very much for tuning in. I can just about see you've got some pretty flowers there in the background behind you. I don't know.
Yes, that's my wife's doing.
Excellent. What's your recommendation?
My recommendation for spring, which is to me this is optimism in a bottle, is Le Guerlain.
Ooh.
Eau Noble. I think that would be how you pronounce it. I'm trying to get
let's take a look. Let's just maximize you here so I can see.
There we go.
Oh, as in noble water.
Yes.
Okay, come on. Tell us a little bit about. I don't know that one.
This would be kind of along the lines of Eau Sauvage.
Okay.
The house is an old French house, went out of business, and then was resurrected about 10 years ago. And they tried to make reformulations that were, let's say, like performance-wise, up to snuff, but they were still modern. So in other words, this actually lasts. If I
Excellent.
spray it, I get the day out of it. The opening is just the most bright, beautiful. Let's call it like, it's green, but it's that yellow, sunshiny kind of a green opening. Citrus
I like
and
it.
galbanum.
Yes.
And it's just so incredibly cheerful. But then it has wonderful evolution, because then it goes into the lavender, sage, geranium, classic mids. And then to kind of really put the twist on it, it has the most dark, it's almost like a fungal mold, kind of oak mossy dry down. And it's like, it's just utterly amazing, the contrast. It's like you go from light to night. I have
to say, you're definitely selling it. It's sounding intriguing. How did you get to know of it?
I saw a review on Fougères, of course, because that's my thing, on Wasps from the Loft, and they mentioned Special for Gentlemen, another absolutely fabulous scent. So I ordered a sample set from them, and when I tried this sample, it just took me back to being a kid in the 70s, and it's like the smell of brightness and optimism that was that time. And yeah, I just immediately love this stuff. So it was
wow.
First thing on my list for Christmas, and one of my treasured ones.
Excellent. It sounds really, really good. I mean, yeah, you made me realize, actually, I need to improve my knowledge of Le Guerlain, because they've got a lot of their work is quite acclaimed and done by very, very good perfumers.
Yeah. I've got a lot of them, because I just tend to focus on houses, and I think they deserve more notice, for
Perfect.
sure.
Well, all the best to you. Thank you very much for doing this, and all the best for for spring and sending tons and tons of sunshine your way, which unfortunately from England isn't a lot of sunshine. But thank you very much, Cole.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you, Dariusz.
And you. Well, no, I keep pressing the wrong button, don't I? Never mind. We will do this right. Okay. Thanks very much to everybody who's tuned in so far and joined in. We've got 2 to go. Let's do this one. This is from 2019 by the one and only Antoine Lee. It's Rose de Jamal. And I want to explain this a little bit. Okay, Persolaise needs to do a little bit of clicking here as well. Okay. This one needs a little bit of contextualization, because when I first smelt it, I thought, okay, not sure I get this. Not really my favorite rose, and I thought, okay, perhaps it's not like one of the best things that this brand has done. But I had one of those moments where then, thanks to a little bit of nudging and a little bit of explanation, I was actually able to get what the whole point of the scent was. And the idea behind this one, the founder very much wanted to make what you could see as a traditionally masculine rose, which sounds like a little bit of a contradiction in terms, because of course in the West, rose is very definitely a feminine note. In the Middle East, it isn't at all, which is maybe why I struggled with it, because I thought, well, what do you need to do? What do you mean you need to kind of muck about with rose to make it masculine? But the founders and Antoine Lee thought, okay, if we had to make a rose that would then come across as being masculine in a Western context, how could we do it? And they decided to put in a great big huge dose of mint at the top. And incidentally, the Jamal in the name is actually a real person. There is, I believe, a Moroccan chap called Jamal, and it's his roses from his rose fields that are in this scent. So it's called Rose de Jamal because they are Jamal's roses, which is a fantastic reason to give the perfume a name. And when you kind of get that, when you get that it's trying to be more stereotypically, more traditionally masculine, when you get that it's trying to freshen the rose and make it really, really light and take away any kind of heaviness or density from it, then suddenly it all clicks into place and you get the sort of suggestion of tea coming through the mint, and the woodiness of the rose is brought out, and it's a kind of perfect bridge between the cool crispness of wintry scents, stereotypically wintry scents, and the more heady, honeyed, ambery roses that you would associate with the kind of roses of high summer. Rose de Jamal sounds more elegant than Jamal's roses, says host beef. Yeah, well, plus the fact that it's, you know, and most names in French sound more elegant, don't they? And because we've gone over the 1 hour mark, and you know I really don't like making the videos longer than an hour, so we're very quickly going to do the last one, and then we will call it a day and let you go. But thank you very much to everybody who took part in this experimental episode of Love at First Scent. The last one is from 2012 by the one and only Ralph Schwieger, and this is Fils de Dieu from Etat Libre d'Orange. Still puts a smile on my face every single time I smell it. This is the one that very famously was supposed to have another name, which would have ended up being extremely controversial, but thank goodness they dropped that name. We don't need to remind anybody what that name was going to be. But this is the most interesting, chuckle-inducing, funny, irreverent citrus scent, because it's got the citrus facets, but also famously, if you know the scent, it brings in this kind of steamed rice feel. And I think that if there is any scent that can put a smile on your face, that can get a laugh out of you, then surely it's got to be perfect for spring. And so that is the one on which I would like to finish the list of my top 10 recommendations for spring 2022. Huge special thanks to those of you who actually took part in the live chat. You were beyond superb. Thank you very much for being such good sports. It probably was a bit nerve-wracking being the first ones to do it, but I do have to say, fingers crossed, touch wood, all the rest of it, as a first experiment, it did actually seem to work pretty well. So I think we may, you know, we're not going to do it all the time, but we certainly will consider doing this again at some point. So send some ideas for the sorts of topics that you think might work well. We should have a Persolaise party, shouldn't we? A Persolaise perfume party. This is the weirdo foodie version of Shalimar, isn't it? Says Gavin Lambert in reference to the Feast of Dieu. Yes, you could say that. But as Angeline says, the benchmark has been set high. I know. And Stephanie, we'll leave with Stephanie's comment. Let us know next time so we can be prepared and have clothes on. Always a good idea. Okay, happy spring, happy first day of spring to everybody, and happy New Year for those of you around the planet who celebrate the New Year now. Huge thanks to everybody. Be good, and I will see you soon.